ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ। वासुदेवेन्द्रयोगेन्द्रम्
बोलना।
वासुदेवेन्द्र
योगेन्द्रम
नत्वा ज्ञानप्रदं गुरुम्
नत्वा ज्ञानं प्रदं गुरु
मुमुक्षूणां हितार्थाय
मुमुक्षूणां हितार्थाय
तत्त्वबोधो विधीयते।
तत्त्वबोधो विधीयते।
तत्त्वबोधो भिधीयते।
तत्त्वबोधो विधीयते। अब ठीक।
प्रेयर इन्वोकेशन प्रेयर था ना, इसलिए ठीक है। हमने ये पूरा साधन पर चतुष्टय संपत्ति देख लिया था कि okay, I'm sorry, I'm supposed to speak in English. So we saw this fourfold qualifications that a seeker must have to be able to do this tattva viveka, to be able to discriminate between what is truth and what is not the truth, what is real and what is not real. So what were these sadhan chatushtaya? What were these fourfold qualifications? We discussed at length. Still, there were some points that I just wanted to highlight. We said Viveka, Vairagya, Shamadhi, Shatka Sampatti, and Mumukshutva. These are the fourfold qualifications. And Viveka, what kind of Viveka? What is Nitya, what is Anitya, what is permanent and what is impermanent. When this we understand in life, then the about turn happens in our life. Then we start this investigation of who am I. Unless we do this in our life, we don't do this about turn. We kind of dwell in the enjoyment of the world. So this Nitya Nitya Vastu Viveka, that is the first thing that happens, or that is the first qualification that the seeker's mind should have to start the inquiry on the truth. So what about that? So what after that? So when this viveka of what is permanent and what is impermanent becomes mature, it results into vairagya, dispassion. So then naturally our mind doesn't go outside for those impermanent things. It doesn't seek pleasure and security from those impermanent things. That is called vairagya. So that is a certain kind of objectivity that we know what a thing is, what the value of a thing is. We are able to appreciate it and relate to that thing accordingly. So we are not underestimating a thing, nor overestimating. We just see things as they are. Then Shamadhi Shatka Sampatti. These are the sixfold qualifications that the seeker must have to be for a maturity, for a certain maturity, for that emotional maturity, so that he can abide in whatever he is investigating. Namaste Sajni, we are just revising a little bit and then we will start.
Yes, okay.
So we are talking about the third qualification, Chamadhi Shatka Sampatti. I just wanted to little bit elaborate on that. So Shama and Dama. Last time I said that this Shamadhi Shatka Sampatti is something that is crucial for everybody whether or not you want to do the spiritual investigation, spiritual inquiry, spiritual pursuit, or even if you want to live a worldly life, you need this emotional maturity to be able to handle situation, to be able to handle uh, able to handle the different personalities. So Shama and Dama, let us, what exactly is Shama and Dama? It is basically not reacting. So far we have been reacting based on the samskaras, based on the habits that we formed through our upbringing. So then what is the Shama and Dama? Shama and Dama is now revising this behavior in us so that now I behave in accordance with the knowledge that I have, in accordance with my buddhi, in accordance with my intellect. So for that, this Shama and Dama, this kind of uh, preparation is required. In simple words, our Swamiji and Puja Swamiji has explained this in a very nice, without going into the technical terms, they explain it as two-step response. Instead of reacting to a situation, you stop for a moment and look at the person behind the personality. So, two-step response is to be able to differentiate that in any when we are interacting with any person, we are not just interacting with that person. There's two things involved. One is the personality of that person, and one is the person behind that personality. And we say, or it is said, that the person uh, is the same in everyone. The personality is different. So my personality may be different from Shivaniji's personality, may be different from Sajniji's personality and Tula's personality, but the person that connects all three of us is the same. So you look at the person behind the personality, uh, then you won't give that much importance to the person. Or even in a simple way, let us say that you are a person playing different roles, like you are a mother, you are a wife, you are a employee, you are an employer. So there may be multiple roles that you are playing, but the person behind all this personalities is one and the same. How one person is tying up all these different roles, which we can call personality. So also in a particular interaction as a mother, let us say that you reacted, or in a particular role as a wife, you reacted, then you can dim down, or you can trace yourself back down to that person, which is common, which is you know, which is common, which is unconnected uh, to all the reactions that happens at the different role. How that person remains the same, how that person remains unaffected, irrespective of the different roles. So also all the different personalities, whether Pushtiji or Shivaniji or Sajniji, the personalities may be different. We may have our own mood swings as women, but still the person uh, that sources all these personality is one and the same in all of us, and that person does not get affected. So if we are able to switch our focus from the personality to the person, then it becomes a two-step response. Instead of one step that somebody says to me something and I immediately react, I immediately become angry, or I immediately become hurt. Both the ways. Instead of that, now let me pause and let me ponder that no, this person is saying these things out of pain or out of the background that person has developed, and the person behind seeing the person behind the personality is understanding where from this person is behaving in this manner, and not justifying the person's behavior कि हाँ वो ठीक कर रहा है ऐसा नहीं, not justifying in this manner but validating that based on the background he or she has, the person is behaving like this, and in this way you will not immediately react. It that tendency to react gets a little bit lowered, and you will have grip over yourself and ability to decide whether or not to react or how to respond to that particular situation. So this in a nutshell is what we call Shama and Dama. This is a simplified way of presenting Shama and Dama. Huh. If we want to dissect this thing, what we will say, Dama means gussa man mein aa gaya, that I became angry, but I will not express it out. I will not show that reaction. I did react mentally, but I am not going to express that out. I am going to do that vratam, that okay, kuch bhi ho, I am not going to show it, express it out to the person outside. So that is called Dama. And Shama means slowly working on our mind so that naturally it doesn't, it doesn't react when such situation happen, when people speak in a manner which may hurt. I naturally do not feel hurt. And when can that happen? When that viveka of seeing the person behind the personality, I have formed that habit of seeing it over and over and over again, and so now it has become a nice pattern in my mind of seeing things or responding to things not in one step response but as a two-step response, and slowly even that two-step response will become a one-step response of not responding or not reacting. So this is what I wanted to I wanted to emphasize regarding that emotional maturity part, shamadana. Now also, how do we actually like what exactly do I mean that shama has to be applied, dama has to be applied, meaning we do not compromise any values. Which values should not be compromised? So a little bit on that. So these values are can be divided as yama and niyama, which are presented as values in which are presented as the values of Patanjali Yoga. The Yoga Shastra presents it as yama and niyama. So yama is Satya, Ahimsa, and I think Shama, Asteya, Aparigraha. One more, Satya, Ahimsa. At least these four. Okay, then when I remember the other one, I'll Satya, Ahimsa, Kshama. It should be Kshama. Satya,
Both.
Ahimsa, Kshama, Asteya. No, that will come in Ahimsa. Satya, Ahimsa, Asteya, Aparigraha. Brahmacharya is Niyama, I think. So we'll start with this. The fifth one, when I remember, I will let you know. So these are yama. So in in cultivating the shama and dama, we make sure that we do not compromise this value of ahimsa, not hurting anybody uh, by our action, by our speech, or by our thought. That is ahimsa. Then satya, to that oneness in our thoughts and in our speech and in our action, that we would call it as satya. All these definitions, there is I mean, we can spend hours and hours on this, but just in a nutshell, I am, taking you through all these. Asteya. To asteya, you think that it is just, um, not stealing, but what does stealing mean? It has a very broad meaning. To take only as much as required from the whole system, to not overindulge, to not overconsume. And so, in order to follow this value of asteya, we have to transform ourselves from being a consumer to a contributor. So, in fact, all these so-called very diverse values, how in a very simplified way, how can I follow it? How can I make sure that I follow value of satya, ahimsa, asteya, and aparigraha, only taking as much as needed, by this simple concept of uh, I become a contributor and I become less of a consumer. So I give to the system as much as I can and take very little from the system and uh, give as much as I can. So take little and give more. So that is the general, that's the that's a simple way uh, to ensure that we are in line with all these values. And that's also the way to make sure that we follow shama and dama and we do not compromise it. uh, our Swamiji has lots and lots of lectures, both Swami Viditatmananji and Puja Swami Dayanandaji, on this contributorship and not being a consumer, being a contributor. But uh, I never understood how these were linked with all these values. So more and more you dwell on these values, you understand that simplistically speaking, how it would relate in our life when we are interacting with people is being a contributor. Um, because we listen from Swamiji this over and over again, and we may think that why is Swamiji speaking this? It's the same lecture or same concept that we are listening, uh, but there are so many dimensions in which we can improve to become a contributor. And more we try to become a contributor and less of a consumer, we find subtle ways of transforming ourselves uh, to make sure we are uh, the contributor. In even simple thing like when we feel hurt and when we are complaining, in all these little things, we can slowly transform ourselves of okay, uh, can I reduce my needs? Can I reduce the needs at emotional level, intellectual level? Can I reduce it? How can I reduce it? Uh, and then I think about it and bring in that gratitude, uh, that भगवान ने बहुत कुछ दिया है. God has given me a lot to to appreciate that and look at the glass half filled rather than half empty. So, so much for that emotional maturity. Just I wanted to uh, just tie back that Shama and Dama because I felt some things were like something was missing when we discussed that Shama and Dama, and I wanted to bring these elements of in order to make sure that we implement Shama and Dama, we have to know which values we have to practice and which are those values? The values of Satya, Ahimsa, Aparigraha, Asteya, which are comprehensively uh, included in Yama, under Yama. And then there is also something else, Niyama, what you should do. Like Shaucha, again there is a set of 5, which I am not able to gather. I think Shaucha means cleanliness, Tapas means penance, Brahmacharya means, celibacy, and then there are 2 more. So again, those ones that I am missing, I am going to recollect it and tell in our group. But what this will amount to is being a contributor and less of a consumer, more of a contributor. This is how my life should be. So, in order to progress spiritually, what should I do? I should transform myself into this person of being more of a contributor, less of a consumer. At what level? At all level. At physical level, at emotional level, uh, in the emotional demands that I do at among relationships. At all these levels, I become less of a consumer, more of a contributor. Okay, so Shama
Mumukshutva.
Dhamma. So this is a simplified way of addressing this Shama Dhamma. Not reacting, meaning also we have our own likes and dislikes of what I like, how I would want a particular person to behave, how I would not want a particular person to behave. So these are called likes and dislikes, or raga and dvesha. So not succumbing to our likes and dislikes, not succumbing to that raga and dvesha, not behaving in accordance with my likes and dislikes, and behaving in accordance to what the dharma says, in accordance to what the shastra says. And what does it say? Being less of a consumer, more of a contributor, in a nutshell, which encompasses all these values: ahimsa, satya, brahmacharya. So second point is, uh, 3 things you can remember in the back, as a pillars of these Shama and Dhamma qualifications. What are those? That I have to practice the values. See, when we use this word practice, we have to practice. What do we have to practice? Knowledge doesn't have to be practiced. Values have to be practiced. Shivaniji, I always correct you, right? When you say practice, I say no, not practice. There is a reason for it. So there is some things that you practice, some things is not a matter of practice. Knowledge is a matter of just reminding yourself that no. So values you practice. So Shama and Dhamma, 3 pillars. All the values included under Yama and Niyama, meaning Asteya, Satya, Ahimsa, Kshama, Parigraha, and then Niyama, all the bahya vyavahara, how the externally you will maintain your composure, cleanliness, penance, brahmacharya. Two more, which I will, tell you later. So, Ishvara Pranidhana, having Ishvara in our life, doing puja, etc., that bhakti bhav, that devotion to Bhagavan, all this, all this is needed uh, in our life as part of Shamadama. Second pillar is not behaving in accordance with our likes and dislikes, but behaving in a manner of what Shastra is expecting of us, and it has relation with that first pillar. These pillars are not completely independent pillars; they are interrelated. They are woven. They are as though stemming from they have one thing as a stem, so they are interrelated. And third thing is not reacting. Not reacting would be called um, as the attribute of Shama and Dama. What is Shama Dama? Not reacting. So these three things you can uh, you know remember. Shama Dama means following values, practicing values, not behaving in accordance with our likes and dislikes, but uh, behaving in accordance with the Shastra, meaning being more of a contributor, less of a consumer. And Shamaha and Damaha, meaning I do not react. So, with that, we will, and then lastly, Mumukshutvam. What was Mumukshutvam? Mumukshutvam was this intense desire that I want to be free. Free from what? Free from this bondage. What kind of bondage? This bondage of a sense of helplessness, a sense of limitedness that I constantly feel about myself. So this mumukshutvam is the intense desire to be free from that bondage, the bondage which is not real, but which, even though not being real, it does cause in me a notion as if I am really bound. So with that, we had finished the fourfold qualification, and then we actually entered the text. So here actually the text begins. What is the text saying? The first sentence is Tattva Viveka Kaha. What is Tattva Viveka? What is discrimination of truth? Uh, so, as I mentioned, it is a Guru Shishya dialogue. So, Shishya is asking, what is Tattva Viveka? What is this discrimination of truth? So, the Guru starts answering. Atma Satyam Tadanyat Sarvam Matyeti. Atma is Satya, Atma is truth, and everything other than that means what? Other than Atma is Mithya. So what is Atma? Atma is I. When I say Atma, what should you understand? Atma is the word used for I, for the entity I. So I is called as Atma. So what does that sentence translate to? I am Satya, I am the truth, everything other than I is Mithya. That is what this sentence translates to. Now, as I know myself right now, I may not agree, or this is not my experience so far. So, the whole text is unfolding of this one sentence of how I am Satya and how everything other than I is Mithya. And how can I understand that? Only when I understand the real meaning of I, and I understand uh, what is everything other than I, then I understand these words Satya and Mithya. Only when I understand all these words in true sense, then I'll be able to appreciate uh, the intended meaning behind the sentence, and I can drop off all the notions that I may carry so far, which are coming in my way of understanding the truth, which are becoming as an obstacle in my way of recognizing the truth. So, the whole pursuit is about recognizing. The whole pursuit of realization is what? Recognition. Like what? The 10th man, the 10th boy recognizing that I am already a 10th boy. I forgot to count myself. So, uh, before we go on to, so Shishya himself, the Grantha, the text will unfold as what is Atma, Atma Kaha, and all that will start. But before we enter there, I have to dwell a little bit on these two words, Satya and Mithya. And I was going to bring some prop, but I didn't bring a prop. So let's see if I have something handy here. So give me a second. Okay. Okay. So Shivani ji has already gone.
No, 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 no. I'm here only.
Okay. So Satya and Mithya. Okay. So now we will think a little bit about Satya and Mithya. What do we think Satya is? Uh,
जो भी हमें दिखाई देता है वो सत्य है.
we think that whatever we see is true. Then what about whatever we use? Do we think that is truth?
We used.
Whatever we use, जिसका भी हम उपयोग करते हैं, जिसका points I want to say is this pot what do you think about this pot? Is this, would you say this pot is Satya?
हम्म. दिखाई
Why?
दे रहा है. पॉट है सामने. I can see it. It's in front of me.
Now let me say, is this pot real, or is what is this pot made up of, first of all?
मिट्टी.
Clay pot, right? Okay,
हम्म.
so now let me pose this question. Is this pot real, or is the clay real? What is the truth?
Pot is made up of clay, so both are real only.
So this is what we have to dwell on today. Okay. Uh, so one thing is Satya out of this, and one thing is Mithya. This is
Oh.
what we are going to dwell on. We think that pot is also real and clay is also real, right?
Hmm.
Why do you think so? What is the reason behind that thinking?
Pot is the result of a clay only. Clay made that pot, basically. Both are
What is
real.
what is definition of real?
What you can see, I can see a pot, but I know inside that it is made up of clay.
Okay. If I take away clay from this pot, what will
Mm.
happen?
It will not be formed.
Then is there
There
an
will be no
entity
pot.
called pot?
No, no.
So is this pot different from clay, or is
No.
clay appearing in
Same.
the form of this pot?
Yeah,
Is
same.
this
It is
pot different from clay, or is clay appearing as this pot?
clay appearing as this pot.
So then which is real? Pot
The
is real or
second,
clay is?
clay appearing as pot is real.
So are there two different things, clay and pot?
No, one only.
What is real?
Clay appearing as a pot.
Is there an entity called pot?
Yeah.
Then I will take away clay, you keep the pot.
I'm confused. Uh,
Is it
See,
fair to say that there's levels of reality? There's different levels, and one level that the pot is real, and if we go deeper on another level that the pot is really the clay, and another
uh,
level the clay is really like Mahapanchabhutas, etc.
yes, in Vedantic answered yes, but different level. But is there two different entities? That is where I am getting it. I'm trying to simply analyze the things so that we can drop the notions that we have about what is real and what is not real. So this is the exercise we are doing, so that we can see how we form uh, you know notions of what is real and what is not real. So
got it.
pot and clay, are they two different entity? First thing.
No. See, pot is made up
Yeah.
of clay only. So it is the
So
result of the
is
clay shape. Yeah.
okay. Then I will take away clay out of this. Will the pot remain?
No.
So are they two different entity or one entity?
One entity.
Okay. Then I will give you a lump of clay. Will you be able to fill up water in it like I fill up water in this pot?
No.
But you just now said that they are one entity.
It's the same. Mm.
So, okay.
I got
So,
you
but this
where
pot
you're,
is
yeah,
useful.
yeah.
But this pot is useful, right? This pot is useful, isn't it?
Right.
You can fill up
Mm.
water in it. Uh, can you fill up water in a lump of clay? Just in a lump of clay?
No.
So then what is real?
No.
So then what is real? So just because you can fill up water in this pot, does this pot become more real than clay?
Mm.
Think,
You have,
think.
I'm
No, don't be confused. See,
clay
this
when
pot
it's
has
put in shape.
usefulness.
Yeah.
This pot has usefulness,
Yes.
right? This pot has
Mm.
usefulness. Whereas you cannot fill up water in that just lump of clay. Still, is this pot different from clay? Is this pot different from clay?
Again, you'll say this
Hey,
the same thing.
your answer can't change just because I'm using a different. Now you're really confused. Just a second ago, you were saying it is not different from clay. Is it
See,
different
when
from
you,
clay?
nee, it is made up
No,
of clay.
just answer what I am asking. Okay, is it different from clay?
Now you will come with the same point that in the clay you
Arre,
cannot fill water.
but I'm getting there. So you don't have to just correct your. I just want
Okay,
answers.
okay. Tell me, tell.
So is it different from clay?
No,
Okay,
it is
good.
made up of clay.
What does that mean? Made up of clay. I will take
To-
away clay out of it. Will anything remain?
No, nothing.
Huh. So, uh, and is this pot tangible?
Hmm.
It makes sound. It has a smell. This is a tangible
Hmm.
thing, right? I can touch.
Right.
I can smell. And then in a new pot, when they fill up with water in the
With the
matka,
smell, yeah.
it has a
Yeah,
nice smell which I love.
yeah.
Okay? So now the question is this pot, is that matka real or the clay real? See, if I take away all the clay out of this matka, of the smell of which I love when the water is filled, uh, does anything remain? Nothing remains. Yeah. So where I'm getting at is we have this notions in our mind. Whatever we see is real. Whatever is useful is real. Whatever is tangible, whatever we can touch, whatever we can feel with our sense organs, that is real. This
Hmm.
is our concept. So did I break that concept right now or not? That
Yeah,
I
yeah.
am seeing it. This is tangible. And what else? This is useful. All three of that is there in the spot. But if I examine the reality about the spot, what happens? I realize that, this spot is not an independent entity. It is dependent
Hmm.
or its existence on something else, which is more real
Right.
than this spot. Because
Hmm.
clay out of which this pot is made up of, that alone is appearing in the form of this pot. So
Hmm.
with regards to this, in comparison to this pot, clay is more real because it is the material that is giving existence uh, to this
Of a
pot.
pot, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Whereas this pot is just a name and a form. So clay in this kind of a form with such a bottom, with such an opening, and with such a bulge is called pot. So
Hmm.
clay in a certain form and in a certain name called pot, that is called
Hmm.
pot, right? So even though I'm holding it, what is it? It is actually clay, nothing but clay. And still,
Hmm.
when we say the word pot, it has a certain, it gives in my mind a certain form and a certain cognition. It gives a certain concept in my mind that what is a pot. And when I say clay, it has another concept in my mind. And as if I visualize both pot and clay as two different entities. But what is the reality? One entity alone is the reality of this another entity. And what is the relationship between pot and clay? Karya Karana, cause and effect. One is the cause, another is the effect. This is as though the effect. So now cause and effect, Karya and Karana, Sanskrit terms. So cause is called as Karana in Sanskrit, and
Karan.
effect is called
Effect.
Karya. Effect is called Karya, or effect or modification is called Karya. Cause is called Karana.
Okay.
So when we investigate things in our life, most of what we see as this is falls in this category of effect. And upon investigation, we find that it has a cause. Whatever we are transacting with is an effect, and it has not come into existence on its own. अपने आप वो नहीं आया, वो किसी और पे आधारित है. It is dependent on something else, and that something else upon which it is dependent for its existence is more real than that particular effect. And this is what we want to define as Satya and Mithya, that the cause is more real and the effect is Mithya, in the sense that it is appearing. This pot is not completely not non-existent. I'm not holding a non-existent pot in my hand. You see it, you feel it, but just because you see it, you feel it, you can use it, does not mean it is really there. So
Okay.
that is called Mithya. So this pot is Mithya, and the clay which is giving existence to this pot is Satya. Another example, so another example is of dream. I have to give 2-3 examples. So another example is of dream. So in dream, what happens? We see a lot of things. So let us say you got a dream in which you were eating jalebi. We had a feast today. Somebody gave a feast today, and we had undhiyu and jalebi. And let us say at 5 o'clock, right before our class, I got a small nap and I got a dream. What? That I was eating jalebi. Now, was that jalebi the same as the jalebi that I ate during lunch? No.
No.
That jalebi was, what kind of existence did that jalebi in my dream have? Was that real jalebi or unreal jalebi or mithya jalebi? It was something
Mithya
which
jalebi.
appeared definitely, right? You can't say that when the dream was going on, it was very much tangible. It was very much a field of your experience during your dream state. But as soon as you woke up from your dream, you came to know that, oh, it was just a dream, and that jalebi was, it was just mithya. So in dream, we have this experience of Satya and Mithya, that even though we experience how when we wake up from the dream, we realize that it was actually not there. So example is given how a beggar got a dream that he won a lottery and he became a millionaire. And when he woke up, is he really Does he really remain a millionaire, or he comes to his normal state? So that's the dream example is it gives you the definition of mithya. Another example is mirage water. What is mirage water? That the water is not
Deserts में जो
there,
दिखता है.
but it is appearing because of that hot air. It is creating
Shining.
the appearance of a layer of water on either the road or in the sand, whatever. So, how the animal is, let us assume that an animal looking at the mirage water is approaching that in order to quench that thirst. But will that animal's thirst be quenched out of a mirage water? Because
No.
that mirage water, although it appears as water, is not really water. So that is called mithya again. Why? Because it gives an appearance. So there is an appearance, but it is not true to its nature. What is the true nature of water? To quench thirst. So that capacity that mirage water doesn't have. So mirage water, dream is our standard examples that we do not deny that that is mithya. Mithya again meaning what? It is not as it appears to be. One definition. Mithya meaning it is not as it appears to be. It borrows its existence from something else. Second definition. Third definition, it is changing. Whereas what is Satya? Satya is something that does not change. Satya is something that does not change its nature. So what is water? Like, let me define my question. Fire is hot, right? So fire, warmth and light and that heat is the nature of fire. That fire will never it will never change from its swarupa. It will never change its nature of being hot and giving or emitting light. So that is Satya. What about water? Water has some cooling effect as well as it has taste. So it is never going to give up that nature of its to have that coolness to it and what was the other thing? The taste. So the real nature of a thing which the thing never changes will be called as what? Satya. Whereas that which keeps on changing its swarupa, its nature, is called mithya. So compared to sunlight and moonlight, what is mithya compared to sunlight and moonlight? Moonlight is
A reflection of the sun, light.
So it is changing. Yes. So because it is changing, therefore it is satya or mithya.
Mithya.
So moonlight is comparatively mithya, whereas sunlight has the light of its own. So it is satya compared to both of them. Ultimately, if we inquire again, even in that, even sunlight is not going to come to the ultimate truth. Even that can be changing because in my dream, in my sleep, I do not see the sun. So even sunlight doesn't have entry even in my sleep, even in my dream. So, Satya, coming back to Satya and Mithya. Now I want to take you to another level of discussion. But before we go to that level, I want to make sure that whatever has been explained so far is not too confusing before I start confusing you more. So, is it
No, everything is
clear
clear. Yeah.
that what is true? So, what is Satya in this pot,
Clay.
and what is
False.
Mithya? What is
Pot.
Mithya?
Pot.
Pot. Okay. So, what is, let us say, okay, this book, okay, is made up of paper. So, what is Satya in this book, and what is Mithya?
Wood.
Okay, yeah, you are going to a bigger, you can say for paper. Okay, fine.
Paper. Paper. Guess.
Okay, wood is Satya, and what is Mithya?
Paper keeps
Hmm.
on
Or
changing.
yeah, or book is
Or book.
Mithya and paper is more Satya. Then if you investigate into that paper, then wood is more Satya and paper is Mithya. Then you investigate into wood, so then, but you got the point, right? Where I'm getting at. I have a water bottle. Let us assume that it is made up of plastic. So you have a form called water bottle, which is made up of plastic. So what is Satya and what is Mithya?
Plastic is Satya. Bottle is Mithya.
Why? Okay, now you will also have to say why. 3 reasons.
It can change shapes, no? It keep on changing shape. Plastic. It can be bottle or it can be anything else. Some utensils. The
So
bottle
what?
की shape changes.
So
Yeah.
what is Mithya? What is the what will you call? When is an entity called Mithya?
When it keeps on changing.
Okay. When something that changes is
Shape.
called uh,
Mithya.
its shape, etc., its form is,
Fact. Yeah.
or
Yeah.
something that is changing. Let us put it that way. Something that is changing is mithya. Something that borrows its existence from something else is mithya. Two definitions, right? So both you apply that this plastic bottle borrows its existence from plastic,
Plastic.
another entity called plastic. And this plastic bottle is changing. It is not going to remain so forever. Someday it is going to die, or someday it is going to get destroyed. So it is mithya. Okay. Uh, okay, Sajni. Any questions so far? Sajni. So now I am going to dive in to the next level of discussion.
Mute. Hmm.
That's okay. She might be a little bit around. Uh,
Yeah, sorry, I just went to the washroom.
that's okay.
Hmm.
Any question, Sajni, so far?
Yeah, I've heard before, like, I'm not sure if this is the same thing, but that's how we can understand different layers of reality. We just dig a little bit deeper and then we can find Satya Mithya relationship. And then again, we dig deeper than that and we can find the wood is the Satya and the paper is the Mithya and so on.
Yeah.
And is that
Yeah.
is that a similar way of saying what you have also just said here?
Yeah,
Different
I mean,
layers of reality.
different layers of reality that we will discuss on that little bit. So far, we are just inquiring of our concepts of what we define as real and what we define as mithya. So far, we are just trying to, probe through all our existing notions. So yes, it will be similar kind of, discussion. Um, and I'm not jumping into that because the whole thing is an unfoldment, right? It is about dropping our notions. So I'm just going to try to walk you through these definitions and arrive at what we are trying to get at.
Yes, okay. We're
But so
defining.
long as you're able to follow what I'm trying to get at, that in anything, what I am trying to have you see is in anything that you perceive or interact with, you find two things at the same time. One is Satya and one is Mithya. And anything that you see is an effect. And the effect is one reality, and the cause because of which the effect is and essentially the material cause. And the material cause because of which the object is, that is the unchanging part. It is the unchanging aspect, and that is what we will call Satya for now. So this simple definition of Satya Mithya is understanding, being able to discriminate between effect and cause, and understanding that cause is more real than the effect, one thing. And so then our whole inquiry will be, is there something called ultimate cause which doesn't change? Because see, when in this pot, I understand this pot is not going to remain forever. It is going to get destroyed and it will break into, like powdered clay ultimately. But what about clay? Does it also get destroyed? Yeah, we find it is also element of what Prithvi, etc., and that will also get disintegrated. So is there something called final cause? So that we will discuss through the unfolding of this text. But so far I'm just introducing these two concepts, these two words, Satya and Mithya. And what is that? Satya is that which is unchanging, which does not change, which is true to its nature, whereas Mithya is something that changes, that does not remain as it is forever, and that which depends on something else for its existence. So these two things you have to remember. You have to by heart. It's bread and butter of Vedanta that you will need to walk through all the different Upanishads to understand what is Satya and Mithya.
So just to repeat that Satya is something is unchanging and Mithya depends on something else for its existence. Those are the two
Yes,
different
yeah,
definitions.
yes. So Mithya. So for if you Satya is something unchanging, Mithya is something changing, right? Satya is unchanging, whereas Mithya is that which keeps on changing. Then Satya is self-existing. It does not depend on anything else for its existence. Mithya is something that depends on something else for its existence. These two things you have to keep in mind, Satya and Mithya. And then if we analyze things in our life, then uh, we realize that there are this two kind of objects that we come across. or two kind of entities we come across. One is effect, one is a modification of something else, and the second thing is that from which, or that which gets modified into something else. So basically, one is a material cause, and the other is the effect made up of these material cause. So broadly speaking, we can say that we constantly come across some or other kind of effect, modification in life, and that effect or modification is made up of which is called karanam, material cause, and that material cause is satyam as compared to the effect, one level of discrimination. Okay, then when we analyze this material cause also further, then again we will find that this material cause also is an effect. It is not an ultimate cause, that is also an effect, and then that is an effect of which something else is a cause. And then when we probe into this cause, then we find this is also an effect of which something else is a cause. And so long the chain goes on and on and on. But is it an endless chain? If it was so, what would happen? It would lead to ad infinitum. And what does that mean? If that concept, okay, I am going a little bit into mathematics now. So if that were true, then this thing, which we call effect, would not come into existence. So it cannot be that the cause of this effect and its cause and its cause and its cause and its cause does not end into a cause which is just a cause and not an effect. So ultimately this chain has to stop somewhere which was only the cause and not an effect. Otherwise, this spot, namely an effect or any effect that you come across, would not be in front of you. If a cause, which is only a cause and not an effect, were not there. Now, this is a mathematical principle which, if you don't understand right now, we will tackle through it next Sunday a little bit further. But just understand this right now. You can contemplate on it and think about it in this manner, that think of, there are a group of 50 students, and there is, one person, the first student has 50 rupees in the person's hand, and the teacher says, uh, where did you get this 50 rupees? The student says, this person gave me. That person, then teacher asked to that person, where did you get? That person gave me. And so the chain goes on and on and on and on and on. Now let us assume that each person says that person gave, that person gave, that person gave, that person gave. If you didn't have a situation where somebody already had 50 rupees and nobody gave that person 50 rupees, would that first person, come up with that 50 rupees? It would in Sanskrit there is a word called anavastha dosha. If there wasn't a person who actually just had this 50 rupees, nobody gave that 50 rupees, and from whom that whole chain began, unless we had such a situation, that first person would not, that person would not have 50 rupees. This is a concept. It may be a little bit complicated right now. So think about it over the weekend or over the week until next time. And we will again dwell on this Satya and Mithya because it's a very, very, very important concept in Vedanta. So we will again dwell on it next week. But I think right now we will have to leave. And again, I'm going to wrap up with this two primary definition. That which does not change is called Satyam. That which does not depend on something else for its existence is Satyam. Whereas that which keeps on changing is Mithya. And that which depends on something else for its existence is Mithya.
Mithya.
Those two are the definition. And in anything that I perceive or I see, I interact with, there are both aspects, Satya aspect and Mithya aspect. One aspect is more real. It is a different degree of reality, like what Sajni you said. It is a different degree of reality, and our goal is to inquire into this ultimate degree of reality. So to be able to discriminate of what is more real than what is appearing to be real. Okay, something is appearing to be real. This pot is appearing to be real, but what is more real? This clay is more real than the pot. So this is what we have to investigate. Okay, so with that, I'm going to leave at this. I'm going to conclude. And again, next week, we are going to dwell a little bit more on Satya and Mithya. It's a very, very, very important concept in Vedanta. So I think I'm going to spend one more lecture on this Satya and Mithya before we proceed in our text. Okay. Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om.
Thank you.
If you have any questions, just post in the group so that I can, so that I know of how to address it. If there are particular areas which you didn't understand or where you need more clarification, then also please let me know so that I know where I may have to work on, which concepts I may have to clarify, more further. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Hari Om.